Hey there, friends and enemies. JoPaWrites here once again, and today I have a brand new Marvel's Avengers video for you. This one talking about the updated content roadmap as well as what I think about the future of Marvel's Avengers. If you enjoy the video, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Tune into all the content that I will be releasing, as well as helping me on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are almost there. Thank you so much for helping me hit that. Also, comment down below. Are you still playing Avengers? Are you going to come back when there's new expansions or new heroes? I definitely want to hear from you guys on how often you are playing Avengers at this point, because it seems the game has had a bit of a resurgence since War for Wakanda, and a lot of that has to do with some of the other quality of life things you've seen from the game, from the double XP event to the current anniversary event that has extra exotics available, an extra exotic during various quests we've seen in the past. So those little things, those events, the updates, free gear, allowing you to farm, all of that is a good thing that we'll see hopefully from Marvel's Avengers going forward quite a bit, because it does help the player base, especially in between large content drops. And that's where the game has really struggled, in my opinion. When we see something like Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Black Panther, those drops have been really cool and I think received really well, but they're so spaced out that we often have large lulls in the game where there's just not a whole lot to do, especially if you only have certain activities farmable once a week, you know, on one character. If you have those various activities farmable consistently, now we're gonna see reason for people to jump back and play. The champions points, that was a huge step in the right direction, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but they are upgrading the hero level as well in the future, so that's pretty exciting. The power level cap, and I think that's important, as long as, and they've stated that with the power level cap increase, you will be able to take your current gear up to the new cap, which is something that I think games like Borderlands sometimes struggle with, because you have to refarm everything, and a lot of times it just doesn't seem worth it. So that's exciting news. Now let's get into the content roadmap and talk about that for a little bit. Currently, we're in the 1-year anniversary event. Priority Mission Rush, Cargo Runner, Synthoid, and Flashback Rewards Cash. All of those events are happening here in September. Then we've got Fall, Winter, returning events, Corrupted Vibranium, Red Room Takeover, Tachyon Anomaly, Cosmic Threat, and bonus XP weekends. Again, those are things that we're going to see ongoing, mixed in with the new content as well. So that's huge. More events, the better, in my opinion, because if you missed one, if you want to farm certain gear, it makes life a lot easier. We're going to see some more outfits inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is huge. They have talked about integrating and having gear and items influenced by what's happening on Disney Plus, what's happening with the MCU. So that'll be huge going forward, in my opinion, as well, because it does have that little overlap that we want to see from the game to the MCU, even if they have completely different stories. Now, the major thing that I saw on the content roadmap that has me the most excited, there's two things. One, confront Claw in our first raid. As a longtime Destiny player, I've been waiting for a raid in this game for so long, and I feel like it has the potential to be huge. Now, these are going to be even more tightly coordinated than your Cosmic Threats, than your Elite Hives, Elite Heroic Hives, all of that kind of stuff. Those are not going to be as difficult as we're going to see in our first raid, and that has me excited, because I think this is a game where you want to really be able to test some of your elite builds in ways we haven't seen before. Now, the All in the Family event, the problem with that a little bit is we're seeing that ranged builds are far more effective than melee builds and up-close builds. So that's something that I hope they do balance around in the future. Hopefully we see melee get a buff or some additional ways to make that a little bit easier to bring a variety of builds into the raid eventually. But for now, I'm excited to check that out. It should be really cool, and that has me more excited about this game than I've been in quite some time, even including War for Wakanda. We've also got the new Heroic Event Spider-Man, obviously only on PlayStation, which I know a lot of people are frustrated by. I'm a PS5 gamer, so I'm going to be playing Spider-Man right away as soon as he launches. I'm very excited about that. But hopefully they include some other things for Xbox and PC players at the same time once they do drop Spider-Man, so that way everyone feels a little bit included in that, even though it's not going to make up for not having a full character in the game. And I know this is something that Sony has had the rights for Spider-Man, so that's the reason we're seeing this. It's still a little bit of a disappointment, and I hope games go away from this in the future, because it's not really great when you have certain systems that are locked out of certain content. Now we've got new enemy types, Echoes. Again, the more enemies we get in this game, the better. It needs variety. That's something I've been saying for quite some time. Whether it's villain sectors, whether it's standard enemies, whether it's mission types, all that kind of good stuff. This game is lacking in a bit of variety, and that's why it'll feel redundant at times. If you log in a mission and you take on one, and then you take on a second one, and they have enemies that feel very similar, that's going to feel bad, and I think that's something that hopefully they address over time. And these Echo enemies are a step in the right direction, but again, villain sectors I think is something, hopefully we see Crossbones with those types of enemies in the villain sector, because we need more of those as well. Now we've got a power level cap increase, that's huge. Rework systems for resources, gear upgrading, Disney Plus Hawkeye nameplate challenge, like I mentioned that earlier. Earnable Cosmetics, so it sounds like previous cosmetics that were only available for purchase are going to be earnable in game, which is huge. Having the chance to earn cosmetics is always great. You see it with the challenge card, and hopefully they do more of that in the future, because I feel like them adding cosmetics through gameplay is definitely necessary, because not everyone's going to be able to buy every cosmetic on every character, and so having different options is going to be a good thing. Let's see, what else do we have? They haven't included any plans for 2022, but it looks like when everything is ready to go, they are going to announce new information for that. So at the very least, this game is going to continue through 2021 into 2022, which I know a lot of people have been concerned that this game would kind of fall by the wayside, because the sales were lackluster for a bit, but we know that it's at least continuing into 2022, so that's very exciting news. Yeah, the tie-ins between the Disney Plus Marvel programs, MCU outfits, all of that kind of good stuff, as we've spoken about. It sounds like they are focusing on quality of life improvements first, especially long-standing asks, and then they are going to pivot into new heroes, villains, and more. Also providing updates on patrol mode and cloning labs when they have more news to share. So yeah, overall, I think it's an exciting time to be an Avengers fan. I think there's a lot to look forward to in the future, even if it's a slow burn at times with some of the things we've seen. The game as a standalone with just the story content, I feel like is really good right now. I would recommend it to anybody. If you haven't played the game and you enjoy playing as superheroes, this is a perfect time to jump in, play through the story of the base game, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and Black Panther at the very least. I think that's worth it. And see if you like some of the end game stuff, and see if you want to make some builds, all of that kind of good stuff, because ultimately this is an ongoing game, but the story, some of the other aspects of it are going to carry the feel of the superheroes. That carries the game now, and hopefully in the future we're going to see so much variety between enemy types, between villain sectors, raid, other end game activities. I think all of that has the potential. The Omega level chains, all of that kind of stuff has the potential to make this game really shine. And the more end game content, the more challenging things we have in the game now, that a lot of people are high champion levels, and we're going to see that power level increase, the better. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. My name is JoPaWrites. I'll catch you all later.